So AI built me an app and then I sold it for $3,000 and I didn't even write a single line of code. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing. When my tweet went completely viral, I had so many people asking me how to do this. So in this video, I'm going to give you the step-by-step playbook on how you can build your own mini app. That means building out the front end, the visual aspects of the app, connecting it to a database, and also making API calls, all while using AI only. And before people say, you didn't sell your app for $3,000, well, yes, I did. So here is proof. On the 25th of November, this is the client that paid that $3,000. And also here's a little snippet of the conversation that I had with the client who was happy to pay the $3,000. With that out of the way, let's build. So the first thing is I'm going to hop into an app called bolt.new. Now this app is really powerful because you can talk to it like ChatGPT. So you can literally use natural language to build out an app that you have an idea for. For me, I don't know how to code. I know how to talk to AI and prompt it to create the app. And this is why it's so powerful. So we're going to get started. The first thing I like to do is build out my authentication pages. So what I'm going to do is just have Bolt do it. But typically you can create your designs in Figma or go to Behance. So you can go to Behance.net and find some designs from here that you may want to take some inspiration from, or you can go to Dribble as well and, kind of see what other people are creating and take inspiration from that. And then you can take a screenshot and basically go into Bolt and put that in here. I'm not going to teach you that because I just want to show you the power of Bolt out the gate. So first things first, let's build out our login page, our sign up page, and our forgot password page. So I'm just going to say, can you please build me a modern, nicely designed sign up page? And you'll notice throughout this video, I'm going to be just typing really fast and not caring about the mistakes here because AI is smart and it will figure it out. So can you please build me a modern, nicely designed sign up page for a web app that I want to build? That's all I'm going to say. And you'll notice that it's going to think a little bit and then a pop-up is going to appear right here and you'll see it's starting to actually build out this application here. Bolt uses tokens. So you can see here, I have some tokens here, which is what it uses to write the code. In some cases, you may want to not have it all, rewrite the entire thing, especially if you get errors or anything like that. So you can use Claude, for example, and paste things in Claude and then get responses and then put it back into Bolt. But for now, we're just going to completely use Bolt just so that you can keep everything centralized in one place and just show you the power of this. So you can see here, it built out the sign up page that you'll see in a moment. Here we go. Pretty nice. Okay. I don't think it built the sign in page. So we have to build that. So now let's say, can you take the same design style and apply it to a login and forgot password page? And now it's going to build out those pages for us. So we don't really have to do anything. And this is fun to me. This is so fun to be able to communicate with AI and then have it do what you want it to do and make changes that you wanted to make. And, it's going to do that, which is really, really awesome. All right. So now that we have this is our login page, let's look at the sign up page. Looks good. The forgot password is not working. So let's fix that. So when I click the forgot password link, I'm not shown the forgot password component. Please fix this. Now you can see I already used 100,000 tokens. So one thing that you can do is if you go into the settings here by just hovering over in the bottom left-hand corner, go to settings and then go to feature previews. You can turn on this diff, which is experimental feature that they're trying out right now. I have it off right now just because I noticed that it is throwing me some errors. So I'm just going to use my tokens to show you guys this video. But if you want to see more of this particular thing that I'm doing, I'm actually thinking about launching a cohort where you can work with me and my team to build out Bolt apps and just show the cool things that you could do with Bolt. I'm not sure about price points. I don't even know the structure, anything like that. I'm just putting together a wait list to see if there's actual interest. So if you are interested and you want to take your Bolt building skills to the next level, then all you have to do is click the link down below. Let's get back to this. So let's see what it did. If we click on forgot password, boom. Okay, that is looking pretty nice. I'm not too fond of this purple color. So let's just see if we can change out the purple to maybe let's just actually find some colors. Let's go to colormagic.app and let's just see if we can find a nice color that speaks to me. I kind of like this design, this blue and this yellow and orange. That to me is a really nice color scheme. So what I'm going to do is just take this image and just say, so basically I'm asking, can you take these colors and just, kind of apply it to the app that we've built already and make it show that it's a nice design. It said orange. It should have been red, but what we'll do is we will use our color picker that we have here. And I'm just going to grab this color. It's like orange red. So let's see what it did here. Probably better to have done this from the beginning. So let's see. I'm just going to give it some context just so it knows. Came with an error. So this is an error, which is a click attempt to fix. I'm just going to give it additional context here just so that it knows the colors that we want to use throughout the app. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to actually allow users to sign up. So how do we do that? What we need to do is create a database, which if you're not sure what a database is, just think of a spreadsheet where you have columns, you have rows, and you enter information. You might delete some information, you might update some information, right? Database is essentially the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a database and then allow Bolt to talk to that database so that when users sign up, we can, have users in our database and we can save information or that account and make sure that we're only showing users their information, if that makes sense. So follow me along as we do this. So I'm going to go to database.new, which is a cute way to kind of create a new database, and we're going to get this started. Now, I just realized I didn't even tell you the app that we're going to create. So let me tell you that now. We're going to create an app that allows us to import a PDF and then basically create content from that PDF. So if we have a book or a document or anything like that, we could essentially create content. Let's just say that we're going to create some Twitter content or X content from that PDF and basically allow this app to do that, and then we can copy it and paste it into X or Twitter, right? So let's do that. So let's create the organization. Let's do the name PDF rewriter, and then we'll give our database our password. Just make sure that is a strong password. I'm going to copy that, click on create new project. That is that. And now we'll be brought to our new database inside of Supabase. So you can see here it's setting up the project. And really, it's not that difficult to understand. And honestly, Bolt does most of the work. So that's really nice. So what we'll do is we'll hop back into Bolt, and you're going to use this prompt. And I can put this prompt down below. But essentially what I'm going to do is I want to use Supabase to allow users to sign up, log in, etc. What this means is you will need to create a database structure so when users sign up or log in, they are authenticated. Here is the project URL. So what we'll do is we'll go back into Supabase. I'm just going to scroll down here, and then it should say project URL here. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to hop back into Bolt, and then I'm going to paste that, and then I'm going to say here is the API key. So we're going to copy that API key, and then we're going to paste this here. And then I'm going to say, please create the SQL query so that the database works and a user is not only signed up, but authenticated in Supabase. So now we'll click on enter, and it's going to set up this Supabase authentication. One thing I forgot to tell it actually was to create a .env file. So I will tell it to do that right now, which is essentially like hiding the API key. So let's say, please move the public project URL and API key to a .env file. Okay, so it created that file for us, which is what we needed. And then it is creating this, making sure that when people sign up, it's going to actually authenticate. So the one thing that we're going to do while this is doing that is we're going to hop back into Supabase, and we're going to go to authentication in our database, and we're going to providers, and we're going to email, and we're just going to turn off confirm email for now because we don't have an SMTP set up. So I'm just going to click on save. You don't even need to know what that means. Just turn that off, and then we'll save that. And then we'll go back into Bolt, and we will check this out to make sure that it is looking good. So let's copy this. Also, you can just click on this and it will give it to you. So I'll just copy that. And then I'm going to go back into Supabase, and I'm going to go on the left-hand side. It says SQL editor. I'm going to paste what we just copied and click on run. And now you can see here, it says success, and we should have the ability to now try this out. I'm going to go to table editor, and I'm just going to refresh this. We should see profiles, which is nice. And our authentication should be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to preview, and then I'm going to click on sign up, and then I'm going to enter my name. and then I'm going to enter some test details, and then I'm going to enter a password, and I'm going to click on create account. Now, if I go into Supabase, let's refresh this. There we go. There I am. I got a user ID, my name is here, and an email. And then if I go into table editor and go to profiles, it should add me here. So let's refresh this. No, it didn't. So let's actually fix that. So when I signed up, it didn't add me to the profiles database table. How do we fix this? So the reason why I'm doing this though is it's better to get your database situated first and like get your authentication first. That way, as you're building your app, you can always iteratively update your database and the way that it works using Bolt. So essentially you can build out your front end app, and then you can continue to build on the database as you're building your front end app. But you know your database is working because you're testing out the authentication. So let's see here. If I go here, it should say create profile. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going to copy this, what it just did, and I'm going to go back into SQL editor and just do that same thing. It might throw an error, so let's click on run. So it says relation profiles already exist. So let's actually go back to Bolt and say, we got this error. Let's go back here and we'll copy this and we'll just erase that and paste that. Click on run. We'll say yes. Okay. And then let's sign up again. So then if we go back here, there we go. So the table is working now. And if we go to authentication, okay, so that's all working. That looks good to go. So now it is time to build the app. So the app that we are building, like I said, is going to be a PDF. So we drop a PDF and it's going to essentially analyze the PDF and give us back some content that we can use to create, or post on Twitter or wherever we want. So now let's build the dashboard for the app. The dashboard is going to have three things. So it's going to have the PDF rewriter, which is essentially we'll drop a PDF in there and then they'll be able to kind of upload it. And then we'll have the ability to save some content. So we'll have another tab that is essentially a table with the content that we save. And then we'll have a settings page and a log out button. So we need to write that down. So the dashboard is going to have a left side menu navigation. In the navigation, it's going to have 3 items. So 1, PDF rewriter. It's going to have all rewrites, which is going to be like where we save everything. And then 3 is going to have settings and a log out button at the end of the navigation. Now, like I said, you could go to Dribble, you could go to Behance to find different design styles, or you could just design it in Figma, which is what I would recommend. Just designing it first will allow you to kind of conceptualize and visualize what are the pages and what are the aspects of the app that you need versus just like typing like this. I already made this video once before, so I already know the things that I want. But for you, if you're just getting started, it might be a better starting place to really go and figure out what your app is going to do. That way, it's easier for you to start writing like the way I'm writing, and you'll be able to save on tokens because you're not writing thousands of things. You already know what you need to get done. And that's probably the best tip that I can give you when it comes to this. All right, it looks like we ran into an error. So I'm going to click on attempt to fix, and this should fix whatever error we just threw. And then we'll let it rewrite and see what happens. So this is looking pretty nice already. I didn't really tell it to do all this, but it used the colors that we implemented and it's looking pretty good. Now that I'm authenticated, let me log out and just try this again. It's working. We got redirected to the dashboard. Now it's time to work on the PDF rewriter. So let's do that. So on the PDF rewriter page, let's add a box that allows users to input a PDF. Once they input the PDF output from their desktop, it will input a PDF via drag or button. Once they input the PDF from their desktop, it will upload and a new button will appear that says write new content. And let's see how this works. Okay, so let's try this out and just add this PDF that I have, and that looks really nice. Okay, so now that we have that, we can actually start playing around with make.com, which is going to be our API layer. So we're going to be able to send this PDF into a different software that will allow us to analyze the content and then create new content and then display the content on our Bolt app, which is really powerful stuff. So let's get to that. So I'm going to go to make.com. And if you're not familiar with Make, essentially it allows you to create different types of marketing automations or systems that you can automate. And it uses a visual builder, so you don't have to code, which is really nice. And it just allows me to quickly, kind of manipulate or create data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create a new scenario. And the first thing we're going to do is click on webhooks, and I'm going to do custom webhook. Now, the one thing to note about this is I purely use this particular setup for quick builds, so MVPs, just to get it out the door and get my ideas out the door. But it's not really the best way to think about this, so keep that in mind, just because there might be some security risk involved. So just keep that in mind. But this is a great way to kind of get started and get your ideas out the door and test and validate your ideas to even see if people are interested in them. So let's go into this here, and we'll click on add, and we'll just say PDF rewriter 2, and I'm going to click on save here, and I'm going to copy this here. So I'm going to go back into Bolt and then say, when the user clicks on rewrite content, I want to call a make.com webhook. So essentially what I'm saying is when they click this button, basically communicate with this, what's going to happen here. So I'm going to just say that. So I'm going to click on yes. So when it clicks on the rewrite content button, I want to basically call that make.com webhook. Okay, you see it's writing out the code. And while that's doing that, let's continue this process. It's basically waiting for me to click that button. What we'll do is we'll wait for it to be done. But what we're going to do is build out the rest of what we need to do to get the app actually working, which is essentially to analyze the PDF and then have AI analyze it. And then we'll be able to, continue forward. All right, so let's try this out. I'm going to upload this PDF that I found. I'm going to click on rewrite content, and you'll see that it says unexpected token accepted is not a valid JSON. So let's see. You see here it says successfully determined, which means that it is working properly, which is great. Don't worry about this error here. We're all good there. So now what we want to do at this point is we want to go here, which is the little plus icon. And Make has a ton of different apps that you can connect with. You can also do HTTP requests. So if you have a third-party app that's not listed here, or you have some type of functionality that you want to bring in from a third party, you want to do that. But it actually has something that I can use called pdf.co. And for this particular app, I'm just going to do convert from PDF. And I already have it connected, but essentially all you have to do is click on add. And then if you want to follow along with this video, just go to pdf.co. And then you can click on this sign up here to get your API key. And it's literally going to give you the API key to enter into here for you to follow along. Very simple, but once you have that, all you have to do is click on upload a file and it will allow you to continue. So before I continue though, I actually need to test this out once more. I'm going to click on run once. Essentially, I just need the data from here. So I'm going to click on rewrite content once more. And then this should go into here, and it's probably going to throw an error here just because it doesn't have the right content for me to analyze I didn't provide a PDF. But I'm going to click on force stop, and then I'm going to go back in here. And because we have the data now, if I go in here, you can see if I go to file data, you see the data is there for me to use. So I will go into the pdf.co element here, and I'm going to delete this because that is not right. We want this. We also want to, where it says export type, we're going to do this JSON output, which will allow us to modify the data how we see fit. So I'm going to click on OK. The other thing we want to do is once we get that PDF analyzed or into that text file, we need to basically use AI to analyze the file or analyze the text. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Claude module here. It makes it really simple for us to just connect our Claude. So again, just click on add and you add your API key. Click on this link to find your API key and you'll be good to go. Max tokens, I'm just going to put 8,000. And for message, I'm going to click add message, role, user. And then for content, I'm going to do text. And in the text, I'm going to write just a simple prompt. And I'm just going to say, you are a content specialist. Your job is to take the information in this JSON file and then create 3 tweet ideas that can be used. The tweets should be engaging and sensational. So actually, what I'm going to do is click OK. Because what I need to do at this point is I'm just going to grab this data and just click on run once, run this module only, and then paste that, which will allow us to get data that we can use inside of this module. Because essentially you can't get access to the data that hasn't been tested. So we need to test this module to be able to use it in this module, if that makes sense. So got an error here. So let's check this out just to make sure that it is the correct setup. So input file. Yes, this looks All right, so let's just try the run once way. So you can see here that it is running successfully so far. You see the one there, that means that that first module, the webhook module, was called upon. So that worked. So now what we can do is we can go back in here. I'll say here is the JSON file / data, which will do objects value. And then we'll say, please output the responses in JSON format using this example. So I already have an example that I had ChatGPT help me write. So I'm just going to open that up real quick just so that you can see how this would look. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to go back into here. So here is how you should provide me the output. And then I'm just going to erase this to say text. And then just so it knows that this is where you would put the text. And the reason why we want to do this is so that every single time the output is the same. And I'm going to copy this because we need to actually tell bolt.new that this is the output that's going to come back in. And then the last thing I'm going to say here is please provide me with the JSON output only and nothing else, just because I don't want any explanations or anything like that. So, and nothing else. Okay. So basically, just to give you reference, what's happening here is when I click on this button, it's communicating with make.com and sending the data that we inputted here into make.com. And then it's going to pdf.co, which is a website that allows us to analyze PDFs and giving us the text of that PDF. And then we're providing that text of that PDF into Claude to analyze and write tweets for us that we can then copy and paste into X. So that is essentially the workflow. The last thing we need to do after this is we need to do webhooks one more time and do webhook response. And then inside of this body here, which is basically the way that bolt.new is going to be able to access the information that we get from Claude, is we need to actually put in the content. So I'm going to put text here, which is going to be the output of our response. You could also do text response, which is fine as well. So I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to save this just so I don't lose my work. And then I'm going to click on run once. And it's going to wait until I press this button again. But before we press that button again, what I want to do is tell Bolt that the response is going to look like this. So the response from make.com is going to look like you need to look out for the data and then display that data in 3 different cards once it's done. Let's just start there and see what happens. So I'm going to click on this, see what it does once it's done. All right, so let's try this again. And let's just verify that this is still waiting. Yes, it is. It's waiting for us to press that button. So let's press this button. And you can see here that we're not getting that error anymore because what's happening is it's going through this process and waiting until this whole process is done, until we get to the end of this automation. So this is a very simple automation that's just waiting for this to be analyzed and then giving us the output. And then once it gives us the output from Claude, it's then going to send a response back to bolt.new. It's a very, very cool way to kind of display that information. So let's just look at this here. So there we go. We got our cards and we can now copy these if we want. So let's just add a copy icon. Let's add a copy icon into the cards so that we can quickly copy the text. Nice. So it's going to add that and then we can test it and then that will be pretty neat to see. Let's go back to make. And then let's just turn this on so that we don't always have to press run once. We just need to press the button. So let's open up this and we'll click on rewrite content. And now it's going through this process again, and it should give us what we need. Boom. So let's just check this out. There we go. It worked. It worked perfectly fine. Now, we could expand upon this app. This video is getting a bit longer than I expected. So if you want to see more tutorials like this, or you want to join me and my team to teach you how to actually build out these apps fully and even saving more information into the app, I'm thinking about launching a cohort. So all you have to do is click the link down below into your email and you'll be on the wait list. So as soon as I decide to launch this thing, you'll be the first person to know. I'm not sure when I'm going to launch it. Like I said, I don't even know if people want to see this type of content and if they want to join a cohort alongside me and other people, but that is actually why I want to see if there's interest. So if you are interested, click the link down below. So that's the end of this segment, teaching you how to actually build an app from scratch using AI. However, I want to talk quickly about how you could potentially find clients to sell your apps to. So the way that I found my client is I'm a part of a mastermind, and in that mastermind, there are different people who own businesses, who own courses, who own offers. There's all different types of people in the mastermind. And although there are thousands and thousands of AI tools out out there, sometimes they just want a niche specific tool that does one specific thing. And that is what I pitched the client. I said, hey, I can build this tool that does exactly it. And what he wanted to do was actually give this tool to his clients or to his customers as a value add. So it wasn't necessarily a tool that he intends to build out and build a massive software. No, it's just a tool that's going to be a value add to his customers and to his clients. And that is the key distinction here. You're not selling an app that's going to be built out to be the next unicorn, right? You're building an app that does one thing really well that can be a value add to either your business or the client's business. So you can think about this and kind of think about all the other industries out there that you could potentially target to build out very specific, niche specific tools that do one thing really well that can be a value add to that customer base or to that client's base. So what you can do though is cold email. You can do LinkedIn outreach. You can go into mom and pop stores in your local community and just see if they're tech enabled. And if they're not, just kind of say, hey, I can build a tool that will be helpful for your customers to find, XYZ in your store, right? Anything like that you can do, but it's really critical that you think about it from a value add perspective versus like I'm building a whole software. No, what you're building is a tool that's not necessarily a product, but a tool that does one thing really, really well that can be a value add to the customer base and make it easier for the customer to do a particular thing. So if you find people who own courses, if you find people who own offers, creators who don't necessarily know how to use tech, but have a really big audience and maybe they need a tool that can help that audience do a particular thing. You have to think about it that way. And that's how I think about it and how I was able to not only convince the client to pay me for this app, but position it as a value add to the customer that client has, if that makes sense. So if you do that, you can definitely find clients. I'm 100% certain of it, especially if you know how to build apps that are robust and do something really, really well, one thing really, really well versus a whole build out of a tool. Now, the client may ask you to build out a tool, right? And then you can charge more. You don't have to charge $3,000, which is another critique that a lot of people were giving me, saying you spent all this time building an app, but you got $3,000 for it. You might as well be a freelancer or you just did some dev work. No, it's a bigger picture here, in my opinion. It's not necessarily just about the $3,000 amount, because if this client now wants more things, I can charge more, or now this client can give me a case study. And honestly, I was one of the first people to use bolt.new to build an app and then sell the app, right? So it's all about novel ideas here, not necessarily the monetary amount. And like I like to say, I'm just having fun. I like to have fun when I'm building these apps and showcase what you can do with the new tech that we have available to everyone, especially the people like me who are innovative, who like to think about new ideas, but don't necessarily have the skill capacity to do it. But now with AI, we do. So like I said, if you want to learn more about bolt.new, all you have to do is click the link down below, join the waitlist for the cohort that I may or may not launch, not sure yet, but I want to see if there's interest. So if you're interested, just click the link and then you'll be on the waitlist. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.